Hey, my name is Todd Hackbarth, and I'm a member of the Yankee Air Force. We're based at Willow Run Airport outside of Detroit, Michigan. The airplane behind us is our B-17G Flying Fortress named Yankee Lady.
My name is Norm Ellickson. We test stopped it about 5 weeks ago after a little over 9 years of restoration.
This airplane served with the Coast Guard for 13 years, and the Coast Guard totally removed all the turrets and all the armament, and they used it for air-sea rescue and for iceberg patrol.
The nose is completely restored. We had to have the glass completely redone. The chin turret, as you can see, is completely new. We had a mold we borrowed, and we had that made out of carbon fiber. The chin turret itself we bought from a guy down in Florida in January. It had been buried underground for 20 years, so it was tough shape.
For air-sea rescue, they had a 27-foot long, 3,300-pound wooden lifeboat mounted under the belly between the chin turret and where the ball turret would go, and they could airdrop that lifeboat under 3 parachutes to rescue people at sea.
These bomb racks here were manufactured from new stock. We couldn't find bomb racks, so we had a set of prints from the Smithsonian on the B-17, and so we had our machinists manufacture them right from the print. They're original bomb racks. Inboard bomb racks are part of the structural integrity of the airplane, so you have to have the inboard bomb racks to fly the airplane. They give the strength to the catwalk.
When we bought it, though, in 1986, it was basically the shell of a B-17. It would basically cast the shadow of a B-17. And we spent 9 years restoring it.
And when we came in here today, I think we just got about 20 hours on it. It's about 20 hours since complete overhaul.
We're glad to have what's basically the newest B-17 on the circuit. We hope to have it there for a long, long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting our bombers airborne. First off, Yankee Lady. Followed by the National Warplane Museum's own Fuddy Duddy. And immediately following, Texas Raiders from the Confederate Air Force. On the takeoff roll, the Avro Lancaster from the Canadian Warplane Heritage.
Now, you've seen the B-17s take off. You notice the difference in the wing shape and the difference in the design of the B-24. It also has slightly different engines. They're 1830s. But get a load of how much longer this airplane will have to roll to get off the ground.
Jim Vosell, who's also an airline pilot, flying the All-American B-24 for the Collins Foundation. Hi, I'm Ken Moses from the National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, New York. And I've been asked to talk to you a little bit about our flagship, B-17 Fuddy Duddy. This is the forward compartment of the aircraft. Up here is where the bombardier is set. And underneath the bombardier and beside him were the cheek guns and the nose turret. As you can see up in there is a rare item. They call it a Norton bomb sight. That was our secret to the accuracy of our bombing. Looking down underneath the belly of the aircraft, behind the bomb bay doors, you can see the bottom turret, see how close it is to the ground. That is where the bottom turret gunner sat, and he had to enter that through the aircraft. One of the fears they had during the war was if you had a landing gear problem with the airplane and couldn't get the gear down to land and you were stuck in that turret, you couldn't get out, you had a real problem. and that had been known to happen. Right here you can see one of the waist gunner's positions with a 50 caliber machine gun in it. We've got plexiglass in it to protect the airplane from the weather, but these were all open during the war. And at 25,000 feet, if you didn't have gloves on and a good warm coat, you could freeze to death because it got mighty cold inside these aircraft. And as you can see, there's not a great deal of headroom here. As I'll stand up and give you an example about how you had to crouch over to use the 50 calibers here. This is where the radio man sat, and there was even a gunner's position above him. Right now you're standing in the head office of the B-17. This is the pilot's compartment, pilot, co-pilot. The flight engineer stood right behind the pilot. As you can see, all the controls are pretty well laid out. You have your 4 throttles here, 1 and 4, and 2 and 3. Underneath those controls are the controls that operate to the pitch of the propeller to control the RPM of the engine. And up here is your mixtures. You can cut the fuel off to the engines or make the engines run rich or lean. Right now you're standing in the bombardier's compartment looking out towards the front of the aircraft. This is below and in front of the pilot and co-pilot. This is one of the machine guns, and some of the apparatus you also see here is the breathing apparatus for oxygen for high altitude work. And also the machine gun on the left and some radio equipment that they use to communicate with the other people on board the aircraft and on the bombing runs.
The veterans often protest they were not heroes, that it was just a job that had to be done if the world was to be preserved as a place for right-thinking men and women. Well, make no mistake, they are all true heroes, and we must ever be on guard to keep alive the vital memories of what they did back then. It is because of them that we're standing here, a free people today. Join us in saluting their final victory. Ladies and gentlemen, the flight of the heavy bombers.
It's a great thrill to fly over the crowds and see the people wave at you and know that some of those people actually spent time protecting the United States in these airplanes.